I gotta make another video for the people, which is wild because, as I said, literally no one has asked me to do this. Hey y'all, it's Chimdi. So we're gonna do an On My Spirit video cast today. I actually have footage that I could have edited into a video, but the spirit did not move me, you know? Instead, the spirit moved me to marathon the entire latest season of Insecure and also the entire latest season of Succession and also the first 3 or so episodes of You on Netflix. And you know, when the spirit leads you, that's where you gotta go, all right? But I'm committed to doing daily videos, and so here we go again. Before we get into it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments how you're enjoying the daily videos. I have to say, like, I think last week actually re-burned me out. Like, I think I fully underestimated how much time it would take to edit those videos. I didn't give myself enough time. I also started a part-time job, and as a result, literally by Friday night, Saturday, because you know I like to respond to y'all comments in a timely manner. Saturday, I put that video out. I think I like to post the very first comment, you know, that I can pin. That's just, you know, the description box little thing. And then I was like, all right, I closed that laptop and I moved on with my life, and I did not return until this week. So I'm trying to be really mindful of that, because that's one thing I really didn't want to do, was find myself in the same situation of, you know, creating and losing that joy, and feeling like, okay, I have to start doing these video casts because it's the only way I'll create content, because actually sitting there and editing, I'm just like over it, you know? So I'm being proactive and putting on a video cast. Also, I think I'm just a little bit scared about the video that I was gonna put out next. Not because I'm talking about anything crazy, but it's just a little bit more like artistic. There's not like a very clear like 5 ways for you to do X, Y, and Z kind of thing. It's truly just me vibing with like some not spoken word, but just me kind of having a reflection or whatever. And I was like, well, the people want this. Is this? Who is this for, Chimdi? I'm gonna put it out, so either way you're gonna see it and you'll let me know if it was for you. But you know, that is definitely, and that's the whole reason for the challenge, is to like put out stuff like that, because this is the time where I can feel as safe as I can about putting it out. And I was actually reading Light Watkins' daily newsletter, and he talks about how if you are creating something, it should be, he said, you should be a little bit embarrassed for the people who are close to you to watch it, because it's a little bit like, ooh, it's on the line, you know? And so I'm like, all right, it makes me just a little uncomfortable. Not like I said, because it's crazy, but just because it's just artistically different, you know? And not so clearly like, this is my value and worth, and here is how I'm going to help you in this very specific way. And I think that actually is one of my like journeys right now on my YouTube channel, or personally for my YouTube channel, is truly embracing the fact that folks are rocking with me. They're here for my vibes. Like, they appreciate the B-roll, they appreciate the forest, you know, they appreciate the trees, and they just throw that on. They will throw on an hour-long live, go about their business, you know, and then just have me in the background adding some nice colored energy to their life. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So I'm gonna just start seeing, because I was like, it's pretty cool to look at my own channel and see like November 1 video, November 2 video, November 3 video, November 4 video, November 5 video, like it is cool, right? So I was like, is there a way that I'd be able to keep up doing daily videos? And I was like, the only way I could do it would be if it is how it is now, where it's kind of having these conversations with you all in some kind of daily way, and then for the videos that I want to pour into and do a lot of editing for and all that, I actually go out of my way. Oh, my friend's calling me. I'm gonna put her on this. On My Spirit. Hey girl! Okay, so I am in the middle of recording, so are you cool with being in this video? Just for a hot second?
Yeah.
Okay, do you just want to say hi to the people?
What is the video?
It's an On My Spirit, so I'm just talking. Like, I was like, I'm not doing editing, so I'm just gonna talk, and literally it's gonna go live. And like, it's gonna go live in 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see it.
To record our whole conversation.
No. I just wanted to include this little bit of you. This is my dearest friend in the world. Just so you know what I'm doing right now, because I do want to catch up.
Because I was just so excited, and I didn't want to send you a voice note. I wanted to see your face and, you know, all of those
excited too. I love you. This is gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Yes.
Will you still be around in like,
Pardon?
will you still be available in around an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, and I'll call you. Okay.
Okay.
Love you. Bye. I love that. And you know, Carlita, my dearest friend in the world, when I think about my relationship with her, that actually is what I would love to create with you all, because I feel like she was the first friend I had in my life where it was like the minutia of my life, like truly like, so this morning I had a piece of oatmeal and I did this and I did that. I went for a walk. Like I felt fully comfortable just like pouring all that into her. And I knew she was like, yeah, girl, tell me about it. And it was the same. I was like, let me know the specifics of what you did today. I don't want a high level overview. I'm like, so then you got in your car and then what song did you play on the radio? Like you, like wanting to know truly the like ins and outs in someone's life. And I think it's just this like big, it's like a big hug of just like who you are right now, all the stuff you're going through, all the wins, all the challenges, all of it. Here for you, supporting you, and that consistency, you know, and that intensity. And I think, you know, I tell, one thing I tell new friends now, I don't tell new friends that, but I think I establish it, is like, I'm either trying to do a like 60-minute voice note relationship, or we can just talk every quarter, you know, and there's very little room for in between. And there's so much love. Like I have friends truly that I talk to once a quarter, and there's so much love there, and it's just that's just the nature of how I engage, and it works for them too, so it's fine. And then I have that much smaller group of friends where I'm like, literally we're chatting every day, if not every couple of days. We know kind of like the rhythms of each other's lives. We share the big updates. We share the wins. And I just love the idea of, if you all don't have someone like that in your life, you could be like, I'm gonna check in with Chimdi. I'm gonna see what she's up to. I'm gonna share my piece in the comment section. We're gonna have a nice time, because it is such a beautiful thing to have relationships like that. And I think getting to experience, even if it is in a parasocial way, getting to experience what that feels like, I think is really nice, because it allows you to kind of know in your heart what it feels like in your real life. So you can like just be sending out that energy signal and getting and attracting folks who similarly want to go deep with you and support you in that way. Literally, I literally read a good 60 to 70% of Untethered Soul via her reading it to me via voice notes, all right? So even me reading it to you all during the book club on Friday was from her, you know? So like, the inspiration is flowing, you know, and so that's part of why we are chatting here like this. So yeah, that's like the energy that I've got going into this video cast. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of TV. I've been catching up on pop culture, you know, because you know how when you're on the internet, you know when stuff is happening and what new shows are out and what's the consensus on certain movies and all these things. And not being on social media anymore, I'm just like, oh right, there's the new season of Insecure, and oh, Succession is out, and that Eternals movie is out. So literally Saturday, I took myself on a date and I took myself to the movies and I saw Eternals. If y'all watched my video about trauma, then you already know how I feel about both Richard Madden and the person who plays Jon Snow. So it's a deep cut for those of y'all who rock with me. So you already know how I feel about that. And I was here for all the representation. You know, there was so much representation in that movie. And I think that's great for Marvel. I mean, it's taken like, it's like been 15 years or something since we've been watching these movies. So I think it's awesome that so many more types of people are going to be seen on camera. But I also watch a lot of media despite the fact that I had to catch up on a bunch of stuff. So I think because I've seen like The Boys on Amazon and also that Invincible show. Oh, I hope this isn't spoilers. I don't like spoiling. I was just chatting to someone from the Creator Camp because we both watched that show You on Netflix, which is wild. Highly recommend it. It is insane, but it's also hilarious, which is weird. It's weird to have a comedy about a stalker, because I feel like also Dexter was like that. Like Dexter was insane, but also randomly hilarious. It was just like, what's going on? You know, he'd already finished the show, but I'm only on episode like 3 or so, and he was like, you're not gonna get spoilers from me. And that's why I appreciate you, because I really am not trying to get spoiled for that show, but you know, because of the subject matter, I don't want to be watching that every night before I go to bed, because I will dream about it and I don't want to, you know? But yeah, basically because I've seen a lot of other superhero properties, some of the character beats and story beats felt familiar to me, and I was like, it kind of made me realize that I might be coming up on the end of, not my relationship to Marvel, but just like the intensity with which I really care about all their content. I like got rid of Disney Plus, so I'm not gonna have access to any of those new TV shows. If you wanna email me and tell me your Disney Plus password, would love that for me and you. But I'm okay with just not knowing like what, can't even remember his name, the guy, Nick Fury. I'm okay with not knowing what Nick Fury is up to in his like 6-part series or whatever. And I think it's because it's like all those shows, they just feel like they're just short of being satisfying. They're like pretty good, but then you just leave still being like a little bit hungry, you know? And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop. One thing I thought was interesting though is that normally I used to not only take movies very, very, very seriously, but I used to be very pressed about getting there like while the trailers were still going on, so I wouldn't miss a single second of the movie. And this time, all the time that was printed on the internet was the kind of thing where I could like add 30 minutes to that start time and get there, you know, and the previews would still be showing. And in actuality, the time they put on the internet was like, roughly, it was actually like the time it would actually start, and the actual time in the theater was like 30 minutes before that. And I was like, dang. So I walked in late, and old me would have been mad. New me was like, it's a film, it's fine. It's a movie, like we're good, you know? And I think that's one thing I joke with my friend about, Carlita actually, about being on a spiritual journey in that sense where it completely rearranges your priorities, and the stuff that was so important to you, you know, the stuff of this material world, it just starts to fall in importance because you realize that it's just this passing kind of transient thing, and that the real you, the spiritual you that's connected to God, like that's the real stuff, and that's in my experience, the only stuff really worth engaging with. And so yeah, I used to, like for instance, I used to love that show Money Heist. I still do love it, and I am excited for the next season, but I used to love that show. It used to be God and then Money Heist, and it was real like, it was like, ooh. And now I'm just like, oh no, it's cool, it's a cool show, I like it. But I'm just like, it's like a TV show, it's a dope TV show. Just a TV show. And I kind of wish I'd waited. I wish I'd waited until I'd watched some of my favorite things before starting my spiritual journeys, just so I could really appreciate it with the fervor of a true fan. Now I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'll watch it when I watch it. You know, I'll get to it, all right? I might wait for it to end and then marathon it. I was never that person. I was never a wait to the end and marathon it kind of person. And that's how your spiritual journey will change you. So if you are thinking about healing, I'm warning you now, okay? Wait until you've watched all of your favorite TV shows and then deal with your trauma. The other thing that's on my spirit is Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love. So I was originally going to do Untethered Soul for the book club for however many times I do the book club. Obviously this Friday we're gonna have a birthday live. We're just gonna hang out and I just give you space to tell me that I'm great. as if this entire YouTube channel isn't for that express purpose. We need to have a dedicated hour to just do that. So I was gonna just like keep Untethered Soul and just like keep reading it with you all, even though I've since finished the book. The thing is, I use a Kindle, right? So I have to rely on my I guess I could buy the book, but I'm not doing all that. So I use my library account. I turn the Wi-Fi off because once the Wi-Fi is off, you can keep it on your Kindle for as long as you want. If your Wi-Fi is on, then you only have 7, 14, or 21 days of like having borrowed the book that you can use it. I was just like, I really would like to read some new books. Reading is very important to me. I really like doing it. One of the ways that I know that last week was really stressful for me was because, and I feel like there's like stuff going on in my background job, so we're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? This is what happens when you don't live alone or in just a quiet, normally this place is pretty quiet, but I feel like I hear like folks cleaning in the hallway, etc. We're just gonna keep talking through it as loudly as I can. Last week when I was doing all this editing and all this creating, I had no time for the stuff that I really like to do, including just reading books, you know, and just being curled up in bed and just paging through my Kindle. There's a joke in You that's like talking about how what happens when you like live in the suburbs, and it's like you start caring about stock portfolios and reading from a Kindle, and he like shudders. I'm just like, I travel a lot. I can't carry all the physical books, but I still want to read. You know, I was like, well, if I'm going to be doing Untethered Soul for the book club, then I got to keep the book. That means I'm just never going to read a new book for the next like month. And then I realized like, Chimdi, literally, you can do whatever you want. So if you're like, I'm ready to read a new book, I'm gonna read that new book, you know? And I think that's easily one of my biggest healing and growing areas, is actually getting to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I wanna do. And I think that's okay. Like, I'm gonna give myself permission to do what I wanna do. And it's always about like these really small things. Like, I really wanna turn the Wi-Fi off on my Kindle so I can get a new book. Like, it's nothing crazy, it's just stuff like that. And so I really had to give myself permission. So I did. Downloaded like 8 new books. I'm genuinely so excited. I'm genuinely so excited, y'all. I got like Crying in H Mart, Power versus Force. Someone recommended to me Thich Nhat Hanh, who's got Ways of Seeing, which is one of my favorite little baby books. He wrote one called, no, it's called How to See, that one. He wrote one called How to Fight that someone told me about. I was like, what? So that's my library book. I've got so many dope books. I'm so excited to read them. And then one of them is A Return to Love, which people have recommended to me as well, and I like have heard about, so I'm so excited. And I started reading it. I absolutely love it. It's based on A Course in Miracles, which I also read, and I have that thick volume, and I kept thinking I was gonna get back into it and read it, but like, it is a little overwhelming. It's a real thick volume, and the tone of A Course in Miracles is very specific, and I gotta be honest, I did not like it for most of it. And towards then, the way they talked, I was like, you're not talking about me. You're not bringing that energy talking about me. You must be talking about somebody else, because that is not how I feel. But what's great about Marianne Williamson is it's a much more human, personal, intimate version that's still basically the principles of A Course in Miracles. So I'm like eating it up. I think I only started reading it 2 days ago, and I'm already like a third of the way through, which is awesome. And I want to actually get it as a physical version. It's the kind of book where I want to just have it to like page through and just remind myself, because you just kind of instantly feel good reading it, you know? And I actually was reading it a little bit before starting this video, because I had a weird energy going into this video, because I was like, I had that energy of like, ugh, I gotta make another video for the people, which is wild, because as I said, literally no one has asked me to do this. I'm doing this from my own volition. But just that feeling of just like dragging my feet, and you know, my sleep schedule has been a mess because I've been marathoning all these TV shows. And so I was just like not feeling great about it, and I knew that that wasn't the energy to bring. And so I was praying before going into this video, and I was like, I know reading this book will also help me, because the gist of it is about returning to love. And that's exactly what it was talking about. Just like, you know, it's not about what we're creating, it's not about what we're doing, or like, it's about the energy, it's about that consciousness, about that love being the root, and it's about using our gifts and talents and our time for God and for that love. And that's what really helped me like reframe my mind going into even making this video. Was like, I'm doing this for God, I'm doing this for love. It needs to be a love-based endeavor, and those are the only endeavors worth doing, and they're the most fun to do. And that's why I feel so good making this video, is because I am doing it from a place of love. And the final thing I think I'll talk about in this On My Spirit is actually around my birthday. So I'm turning 31, as I told y'all in the community post. I haven't really figured out exactly what I'm gonna do for my birthday. Right now, I think I'm gonna like maybe head out to DC, hang out with a friend, truly maybe just chill, you know? I might get a massage, I might get a pedicure. I haven't had one of those in a while. But I was trying to figure out like how I feel about birthdays. I think a part of me always was like, oh, I don't want to throw a party in case nobody shows up. So like a total lack of mindset. And another part of me is like, it's just very interesting to think about having one day a year that's like the express purpose is just to pour love on you, and you just have to just receive it. Just receive all of the love. And it's always so wonderful, you know, when the folks in your life show up for you in that way. But I think there is a part of me that is still made a little bit uncomfortable by it. And so as a result, because I was like, oh, I could like, because I got like a nice little community in the DC area. I was like, oh, I could like plan a little dinner, and I can invite them all, and we can have like dinner and drinks, and we can go out to a lounge and like do the whole thing. And I was like, the logistics of that sounds just, I don't know. And then I was thinking about going to a lounge, and then I Googled the photo. I Googled the name of the place, and then I looked at the photo on the website that came up, and it literally was like a DJ and then like a room packed full of people. Like, you know that sweaty, like, you know what it's actually like to be in a club where it's like, people are just packed in together. Some are having fun, some are waiting for drinks, some are standing around, some are talking, some are dancing. It's not like everyone's on that same vibe. Everybody's just living their own experience together in this club. And I was like, all those energies just put so close together, just breathing real hard all around me. I was like, that does not seem like my good idea, like my version of a good time. And I actually had a really interesting experience because a friend of mine just bought a house in Baltimore, and so we were hanging out there for Halloween. It was their first time doing Halloween in the house, and so we like decorated it for Halloween, and we were like there for the trick-or-treaters and stuff. And it was just so interesting because I remember being the kid getting the candy, not really because my parents, as you can imagine, did not support that devil holiday, but when we were like late kids, still teens, I'm like, are they knocking on the door? But I'm gonna keep powering through. We were late kids, early teens. We like snuck out once and got a bunch of Halloween candy. So I remember being the kid with the candy, and then on the Lyft or Uber ride back, I saw like a pair of college-aged girls bring like the really tight, like skimpy Halloween costumes, just shivering. And I was just like, oh, you poor ladies. Like, cause I remember being that girl too, who was like, all right, you put our titties out, we about to go hit the club cause it's Halloween, and being cold. I really remember being cold. So I was like, I remember being young all the way to where I am now, where I am, you know, with the adults, you know, and we're genuinely excited about being able to pass on this candy to the kids. And it's just interesting how I feel like every stage of life, it feels like I'm being inducted into a club where like the folks who are already at that age already know what's up. And so when they hear like younger folks talk, they just smile, because just like, I remember. But you also know that like with every stage comes all these amazing new benefits. So for me, you're not pressed to return to that earlier stage, because you don't want to lose the wisdom and the experience that comes from your life, you know? And so I feel like that's what it's been like. And so I look at like the kids with the outfits, I'm like, that's so precious. When I look at the young girls in the skimpy costumes, I'm like, bless your heart. And then now as the person who's friends with the homeowners, I'm just like, what a peaceful, beautiful life this truly is. It is ours to do as we please, and sometimes that means hanging out for a couple of hours on a porch, eating some snacks, and then wrapping it up at 8:30 and being like, what a lovely time this was. It's nice to not be resisting the flow, you know? Like, I know some folks, they like, for whatever reason, sometimes it's like, oh, I feel like I missed out on that age, so you're trying to like get it in there, you know? But I feel really grateful that I'm not feeling like, oh, I gotta get back to the club, you know? I'm like, you know what? I mean, the club is fun, but that stage in my life is waning, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm not resisting that, you know. Though I did recently buy a pair of leather joggers, and I can see no other place that I would wear that unless it was in the club. So I gotta go out at some point, maybe for New Year's Eve I'll wear them, we'll figure it out. I'm just very at peace with the continuing age of my body, and it's gonna age anyway, which is why I think it's important to be at peace with reality. I think that's one of the major things with my spiritual journey, has been a lot of it is just like coming to terms with the fact that we are alive and life is happening right now, and what is happening and not just resisting the truth of this moment. It's resisting reality where we start to suffer, essentially. And I think that was also a big point of Loving What Is by Byron Katie, which I also had to let go. I think I got to like maybe 80%, 90% of that book before I had to refresh that Kindle. So I'll never know the ends of Loving What Is. I do think I got the gist. Great book, also highly recommend it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I low-key wanna keep talking for 5 minutes because I feel like my videos that are around 30 minutes that are just like us chatting, us gabbing, tend to do pretty well, but I don't think I have much else to share. I think those are like the main things. I'm gonna edit that well, I don't wanna make promises I can't keep. If the spirit moves me, I will edit that video that's all artistic and stuff, and I'll have that for you all this week. If not, that's not what happens, and so we're gonna figure it out as we go. We're gonna figure it out as we go. Let me know in the comments how you would feel if every single video for the rest of the month was just this, was just us chatting for 30 minutes. I have some ideas. I still wanna do the Zumba, though I must say I did. Do y'all know about Kiara Lachey? I was chatting with the Creative Camper, and also someone I knew before that from just YouTube. I had just done a Kiara Lachey workout video, and I was like, do you know her? And she was like, I know her from her music. And I was like, because she's on Pop Sugar Fitness, and her literally it's her video doing Hip Hop Tabata is the most successful video on Pop Sugar Fitness, which is so freaking cool. And then she did another video, and that video ends with her actually doing the cool down to one of her songs. And I was like, this is like a legit song. This is like real music, you know? And so to hear that people just know her from her music, I think is so cool. We as people have so many amazing ways we can pour love out into the world. And I think it's so great when people don't let themselves be stopped and only doing it in one way. Like, I think that's amazing. It makes me think of Michael Singer, who was like a potterist. Potter? He was a potter and an artist before becoming this spiritual person. Michael Singer, like, I don't even want to call him Mickey Singer because we're friends like that. Mickey Singer, like, sold a software company, you know, for millions of dollars and then wrote his book on spirituality. So I just love the idea of just us having so many different lanes that we're in all at the same time and just pouring into the world in that way. I think that is all that's on my spirit. There's an endless amount of things that are on my spirit, but we're just gonna stop there because I gotta finish this video, edit out all the places where I messed up just a little bit, otherwise do very little editing, and go ahead and call it a day. Let me know how your week is going, I guess. I'm trying to think of questions to ask you all that are vaguely related to what I talked about so that there's like a through line. Are you watching Insecure? What do you think of this new season and about Lawrence's behavior? Are you watching Succession, and isn't it ridiculous? Like, can you imagine that being your life? Like, being so caught up in the material world that that's literally how you spend your days, is running around and talking and thinking and doing those things. I'm just like, y'all are suffering. Like, this doesn't even seem fun. You're just really like miserable. Anyway, what did you think of The Eternals? If you saw it, don't tell me anything about you. Don't spoil nothing for you. If you spoil you, I'ma block you. I don't know if I can block people on YouTube. I think I can just delete comments, but don't tell me anything about you. Okay, we'll stop there. Oh, and I guess just let me know if you have any dope TV shows I should watch. I talked to another creative camper. She's super into anime, and I've like never really gotten into it. So I was like, where do I get started? How do I get into it? And she gave me, I wanna say she gave me Neon Genesis. I could be remembering that wrong. I know it's a property. I don't know if that's the one she told me about though. And then she also told me about the Studio Ghibli movies, which I have seen animations from, and they always just look so good. So those are on my list as well. So let me know if you got any great content that I should be watching instead of making and editing videos. Oh, so I guess this will be the final thing that I say that's on my spirit. I think what I really appreciate about Marianne Williamson's book is that it helps me understand that truly it is all gonna be okay. You know, I feel like that's generally my constitution, is one of like things are gonna work out, but like really feeling the love of like there's nothing for me to do. I just have to be here and be in love, be this magnetic force that attracts the things that are for me to me, and everything else is gonna work itself out. I'm taking this break from social media. It truly might be an indefinite break. Like I might legit never come back because it just seems like my life is better for it, and I don't think it's worth it to come back on it. And I was chatting to a friend who was like, girl, you gotta get on TikTok, it's the move. And I was like, I just don't think I'm going to, you know? Like I see how it would be good, it'd be advantageous, you know, for my media presence, for the branding, for sponsorship opportunities and things like that. But I'm like, those ultimately are not the things that drive me in my life. I truly am only here for my spiritual journey, and everything else low-key is like funding my spiritual journey. Like that's the only, I'm so excited about being part-time at Adobe. Part of why I'm part-time at Adobe is to save the money to pay for TWT so that I can continue the spiritual journey with this really amazing, beautiful community. So I'm just like, I'm not actually that pressed about some of these other things. And that's also been one of my journeys, is actually like coming to terms with, you know, my media moguldom, because for a while that was my thing, is I really wanted to be this powerful figure in media and grow an empire for my YouTube channel. And I'm just like, low-key for what? Like, I think actually I'm just here to like hang out with Jesus and like have a good time, and I'll attract the things that are just naturally, they come easy to me and they're fun to me. And it could be dope things like speaking engagements and podcasts and videos and all these amazing things, but that's not the point. The point for me, we're having a good time with God, and then we're getting on out of here. So on that note, I'm gonna get on out of here and keep having a good time with God. I hope you all do the same. But